Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Peg with Yet. I hope you enjoyed that little film about the pulled pork sandwich. For those of you wondering what hush puppies were, they're not the suede shoes that we used to wear in the 70s and 80s. I had to look it up, actually. Hush puppies are a type of fried potato. So those hush puppies, the fried potatoes, the chips, got the undivided attention for 14 minutes. So $14 an hour. So we don't want to buy our burgers that way. So why do we want to sell legal services that way? Right. I am going to share my PowerPoint with you again. So hopefully that will work. Just bear with me 1 second. And I will be able to start this from this pit here, from the current slide. So we're in the home straight. We've got half an hour or so and I'll give you a chat about presenting these options. So what I hope we're going to be able to do is actually create some options. We're going to work out what they are. We will have scoped something. And then, of course, we've got to have this conversation. We've got to talk to the client about what it is and what we're doing. And the thing about price is, we've got to talk about it. We know it's a conversation that we have to have. And quite often we will put that off. And so that we will then start talking about WIP after, we've done more work than we said we need to charge you more. Well, the best time to have the question about price is before you've done the work. And actually, because if we're going to find out that a client can't afford to pay it, if the client can't afford to pay, let's find out before we do it, not afterwards, and we've got a bad debt problem. So we've got maximum leverage at the time that we're having that conversation. So that's why it's worth putting time and effort into our proposals, because this could lead us for clients to say, yeah, I really love this and I want the most expensive one. Or actually, all the proposals are too expensive. I can't afford you guys. In which case, fine, let's find that out now before we do it. And please, 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 let's not assume we know what's important until we've had that conversation. Now, I'm delighted that John's report is 5 times longer than we actually thought it was at the beginning of today, but because that means there's probably 5 times the amount of client misery in there. And what I want you guys to do is go away and think, we're going to be different. We're going to offer these conversations. We're going to offer options. We're going to have these conversations with clients. So price is something we've got to address. I remember speaking to a firm from the Midlands that I worked with last year, and it was really interesting. We had a big Zoom call with the private client team, actually. And I said, one of the problems we need to get over is the fact that we British are quite reserved when it comes to talking about money. And up popped a little voice from one of the participants. And this young lady said, I'm from Poland. I've now requalified over here as a lawyer. I have no problem talking about money. And it was amazing. You could almost see the heads turn in this Zoom call to this person who had joined the team 2 months ago. And she had been at a firm where they did value-based pricing. And she was saying, no, I'm quite happy to actually have conversations about price. And I think that she became one of the leaders in that team, not the head of the department, but one of the people that became a bit evangelical about value-based pricing, and people looking at her to say, how do you do this? So what are the tips when we've got these options? Well, I mentioned in the first session, actually, we prevent our most expensive first. That's why I wanted you to start work on the gold option. You're proud of that gold option so that you can then, clients read left to right. They're going to read that first column first. We must make sure that we don't wimp out saying, well, our normal price, our regular, we don't do that. These are the price options that we have created for you, client. And we are happy with these. We're not, wimping out and saying it's slightly discounted because. And we must make sure that we don't negotiate with ourselves. This is why we have 2 pairs of eyes on every price. We want to go in at the bullish level. We know we're worth this. And sometimes you've got to state your price and you've got to be quiet. And, there's arguments for pricing psychology. So the person who blinks first or speaks first is the person who's going to give way. So we might just say, yeah, these are our options. Let the client have a read. We've got to accept that we're equal to the clients. Okay, we've got to be saying, yeah, we're quite happy with what we're doing. We're going to be creative in using the language. Let's talk about price, not fee. Okay, let's use the word agreement, not contract. Sometimes I always think that sometimes you get, client engagement packs from lawyers that you think you almost need legal advice on whether or not you should sign this or not. So let's try and make it a bit more user friendly. And then we need to place a timeline on these proposals. Okay, no proposal should last forever. If you want this deal at this rate, this is what it's going to cost you to do that. Okay, and one of the reasons for that is we want to put time limits on them, because in a month's time we might be much busier. The price might go up, so we actually put a time limit, and we put copyright on these proposals, because we don't want clients necessarily getting this great proposal from us and then hoiking it around our competition. Let's try and protect our intellectual property. So we're going to meet with the client. Now, I know a lot of you saying, oh, meeting with the client. Oh, no, we don't want to do that. I want to send an email. Look, best results you will get is by having a face-to-face where possible, or having a Zoom or a Teams or something. And the advantage of that is we can deal with the questions and objections quickly. We can see by body language, they weren't happy, or they look quizzically. Have you got I noticed you weren't quite sure about the second option there. Well, can I help you with that? And then the client is assessing these options, and we want to help them understand what we're doing, the value of each option that we're creating for them. You think about it. You're having a building, house extension done, or kitchen designer. These people want to come to your home and talk you through the design, what you're getting, where you're getting this value. They also want to find out, actually, if you don't like what I've done here, then maybe we should tweak it in a certain way. So let's start actually changing the way we work. And let's say we will talk these through with you, rather than just send an email with a PDF attached, because that's what our competitors are doing. Okay. When sending the proposal by email, you lose control of the process. You can't control when they're going to read it, when they're going to go through it, when they're going to get back to you. But if we're saying, look, can we set up a call or a Teams meeting, or I'll come and see you at 2 o'clock today, I'll take you through the document, you're going to control that process. Okay. And we don't want the clients going straight to price. We want them to actually understand the proposal so that they can see and understand the value that we create for them. So that's important. And the thing is, back to context, we talk about context when we were talking about water and things like that. Where will you meet? How will you meet? And if you want to charge a premium price for what you're doing, then look premium. That's important. I've put here Tesco's beer versus Gleneagles. I recently went up to Gleneagles. It was lovely, very nice. The amount they charge for a beer there is a lot more than the beer that I can buy in Tesco's for a bottle of Heineken. And I know that, and I understand that. And that's because you're sitting in a lovely bar, and, waiters coming over and bringing over a lovely tray and putting down some peanuts and pretzels and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, okay, I get that, because I'm paying for that service as well. And if you want to charge a premium price, then we've got to make sure that we look it and that we act it, and that, there aren't necessarily loads of typos in what we're doing, and that we're using the right kind of language. Is the website up to date? I hate it when I go on firms' websites and you see that the next event they're doing is employment law update seminar, and they happen to be doing that in 2018. Really? Well, what's that doing up there? Why are they bothering doing that? It shows they haven't done anything since. That, it's crazy. And is your coffee any good? Do you offer a coffee? I had one lawyer, I sat in, I did a back to the floor thing when I was CEO. I sat in reception once, noticed that this particular lawyer never asked the client if they'd like a tea or coffee. And I hauled her up on it afterwards, said, no, I noticed you don't ever do that. Why is that? Should I never get rid of them? I'm thinking, well, hang on. A, it's polite. B, it's civil. And then you're charging by the hour, Anyway, but are your cloakrooms decent? I know that there's some people, a client someone a lot of you will know actually is a legal supplier. He will actually visit the loos of the offices that he visits, because he thinks that tells them something about it. And I actually did a welcome card to him in the new loo, because told the receptionist 5 minutes before we put that in the loo, and there was a welcome to the lavatory side for that guy. Thought it was very funny. He tweeted it. But it's that kind of stuff. Context sets perception. Don't believe me? That, my friends, is my local DFS. It's a furniture shop. And if you don't believe me, you Google rh.com. And it is a furniture shop from America. And this is the first shop that they bought in, They bought this country house. It's a mile up the road from where I live. And that is what they bought and spent 40 million quid on. And when you drive down that drive, they valet park your car. And off to the left when you go in is a restaurant that is going for a Michelin star. Off to the right, overlooking that view, is a pizza place where you can go and you can have lunch. That's where I spent £9 on a bottle of water, at a furniture shop. The furniture in there has no prices on it. It works on the basis that if you've got to ask the price, you can't afford it. It is beautifully handcrafted stuff from all over the world. But I kid you not, that is a furniture shop. The context for that sets perception. They have people all over Europe now coming here to go and wander down all of these. It's a grade 1 listed building, looking at the rooms, looking at the way they've been done up, looking at the furniture. And I can imagine some multi-millionaire going in saying, yeah, I'll have a room like that. I'll have 2 rooms like that. I'll have this, that, and the other. Outside the back, the garden furniture is amazing, as you might expect, looking over that view. Context sets perception. Have a look at rh.com. If you're going down there, by all means, give me a ring. If you happily meet you out the back for, I was going to say a beer. They don't do beer. They do glasses of wine or water and a bottle of wine there, a rosé. It was a Spanish rosé. Was 52 quid. Context sets perception. So we're then going to have this conversation. Okay, we will say about the client's issue, yeah, we understand the issue. We remember clients want to know that we can understand what their problem is. We can help. We can get you the outcome that you want. We can get you into the house. We understand you want to be in the house before the baby is born, before the kids start at school in the new term. We understand that, and we're going to keep talking about the outcome that the client wants, that we understand it. We can see how we can see the matter progressing for you. And there will be things that you can't necessarily control. And we will say the bits that we can't control, and we'll say the bits that we can. And we might have to say, but we need you to be doing this point. If you choose the silver option, we need you to be doing X, Y, Z, because we're not going to do that. You know, you think of, I know replies to preliminary inquiries, conveyancers quite often go on about how those are painful. Well, it might be on the gold option. I will come and sit with you and I will answer. I will go through them till we answer it. On the bronze option, I might send you the form, fill it in, send it back. I'm not going to, you know, those are the 2 options. If the case is in stages, remember the pebble in the pond, we talk about what we've scoped, what we can do, what we can't do. And then what we've got to do is wow them. Okay, our team expertise, the backup, the structure. If we've got stats we can quote, let's use them. If we've got awards and qualifications, why are these relevant? A client won't understand, and I know we've got a load of probate lawyers here, won't understand what STEP is. But if you say, actually, all our team are members of another society that we have joined, we've had to do extra exams to do this work. Unlike many other firms, they haven't done these exams. We have. We are specialists. Oh, okay. You've done more exams. You are a specialist. I get it now. And we might want to talk about our knowledge of the sector. I remember we used to talk about, well, what we do. We issue proceedings for divorce down in XYZ County Court in Somerset. Why? Because we knew that they could issue them much quicker than anywhere else. So we could demonstrate our expertise. We've got to make sure that we blow our own trumpets. Okay, no one else is going to. So that we might want to actually preempt the questions that clients should be asking. Yes, we've got experience in this area. Yes, we've got X many successes. We're ranked in directories. We've won awards. Our client feedback, actually, you might be interested in our client feedback says X, Y, Z. So we do that stuff and blow our own trumpet. And then we take them through the options that we've created, okay? And that, as far as the outcome is concerned, they will all work as far as the outcome for the client is concerned. How we get there and the journey they have, depending on how they pay, is what is different. The involvement that they're going to have, but they are going to get the benefit. And we're going to offer a guarantee for the service that the client is signing up for. It's the client for the service we're giving, not the outcome. We can't guarantee that this house sale is going to go through. It might fall apart at the last minute, but we can guarantee our service. And a service that is guaranteed is worth more than a service that is not. And even if you were to say, look, and I know some firms have done this, if you don't think you've got a good service, you can knock 10% off our bill, 20% off our bill. And I know a firm that did that, and they offered it, and over 3 years, it was only ever called in 3 times. And what they did was to say, if you want to knock it off the bill, you've got to just have a conversation with us and explain why, please, because we want to understand. Okay? Standing our ground on price is very important. Having the walkaway price is critical. You know, we are not going to go below a number. We're going to be quiet at the right time, and we're going to let people process what we've sent them. And then we've got to ask for the business. We do not say, if you want to go ahead, let us know. You do not ever if the work away. We've got to say, shall we go ahead? Shall we get started? What do you think? Does this make sense to you? If you sign the agreement now, we can start. We can get the compliance stuff underway, etc., etc. Always be closing and ask for the business. Folks, that is Jacqui. She's back. You will see. What I would like to do in the 5-10 minutes that we've got remaining before we get to 1:30 is invite Jacqui up onto the stage and to see if there is anything that she would like to add to my witterings from today. Let me see if I just stop that. And hopefully Jacqui will be able to make away. Hi, there's Jacqui. Look, once again, Jacqui, thanks so much for coming and making your time available. I've forgotten what time it is. You're 5 hours ahead. Is it like 6, 7 o'clock where you are?
It's 20 past 8.
20 past 8. Look, you have not seen a glass of red wine near her lips yet. I'm sure that it's out of shot. It's out of shot. Jacqui, for the people that are here, and I know we've got trainees at the one end of the spectrum, we've got old hands, at the other. Do you want to just give us 5 minutes about what it's like to be a person at Lynn & Brown and not have a value-based price? What's your life like? It must be better.
Yeah, look, it's so much better. I was talking to a table a little bit earlier on tonight, and I was saying, I gave up filling out timesheets, which used to be one of the banes of my existence. If I could get rid of email as well, that would be great. But I used to I filled out a timesheet every day for 20 years. And not having done that for 6 years, or almost 5.5, almost 6 years now, has just been life-changing for me. If I had to go back to it, I think, I don't know what I'd do, but I certainly wouldn't enjoy going back to it. Not filling out a timesheet is awesome. It frees up the way you practice law when you're not constantly thinking about, who do I charge this to? It means that you can collaborate so much better within your firm. It's not like you've got someone thinking, oh, but I need to get some more time on the clock, so I can't have that conversation, or I don't know which one of us is going to build that sort of thing. It's just, you sit down and you have a conversation. You don't even think twice about it, about the file, about, anything. It's so collaborating on files works really, really well. We involve non-lawyers in the way that we do our value councils and that sort of thing. And I think that really helps as well, to have non-lawyers as part of that kind of a process, because lawyers think in a particular way. And I think once you've been doing it for so long, you don't even realise that other people don't think that way. But it's good to have other people's perspectives on some of the things that you do. I love feeling like my client and I are on the same page. I like not having to write down, the time that I start a conversation with a client and the time that I end a conversation with a client. Just, and I love that a client knows that if they need to talk to me, they can ring me and speak to me and not have to worry about, oh, is that 2 units or is it, oh, wait, it's pushing into the 3 units. And I remember one client that I used to have, he would say, it's 5.5 minutes now. You're only charging me for 1 unit, aren't you? Before the end of a phone call.
Yeah.
And, you don't have to worry about that. We, Eleni will remember, we used to have debtors in our office of about $500,000 before we went to value-based pricing. Now our debtors are below 100,000. We would regularly spend the week after we'd issued our monthly invoices explaining to clients, going line by line through the time, saying, oh, no, well, this conversation on this day and this and this. And, and I would dread that week at work. It would be like, okay, this is the week where it's going to turn ugly. And, now you don't have that at all. And I find that my relationship with my clients is much better. I think the feeling in the office is much better. People enjoy coming to work more. I think just not filling in a timesheet is better, but not having that kind of fear of sending out a bill at the end of every month and thinking, oh, I know this client's going to hate this. We're only halfway through, but we're getting to the end of the amount that I said it would be. And it's such a cleaner, better, happier way of practicing. It's I don't know if I'd still be practicing law if I hadn't changed.
One of the questions that I ask on the surveys I do, and indeed I asked it on this particular survey, is that if you could wave a magic wand, would you stay in the practice area that you work in? Would you change to another legal practice area, or would you leave the law altogether? Routinely, I get 50% of people saying we'd leave the law.
Yep.
Because they're not happy with the setup. 25% of them like what they're doing. 25% of them would move to another team, and 50% of them regularly would say, "I want to jack it in." And hello, we know there's a battle for talent, and we've just got to make the work life better. And you can do that by just agreeing prices, having conversations. Lots of law firms, and I know that you did this originally, you didn't get rid of your timesheet straight away. You still filled in timesheets for a while. And then after you came to the conclusion that it served no earthly purpose, you just stopped doing it. And I'm okay with that for clients. You can hang on to that security blanket, but sooner or later, we've just got to just say, look, we're going to give you a fixed price.
Yeah, and look, it was very, very scary to do that, but it was professionally the best thing that's ever happened for me, is moving to value-based pricing and no longer recording time. I mean, a lot of people realise that there are a lot of, depression is really rife in practice here. I know it is over there as well. A lot of people don't like practicing, as you said, 50% would throw it in. I think it's reinvigorated my practice. After 20 years, I'd been practicing and filling in timesheets. I feel like the way I practice now is vastly better. I think that my mental health has improved because of that, because I don't have that horrible pressure of filling in a timesheet and the expectations of that, but then also knowing I am likely to have to defend that to a client or someone else at some point. I think that it makes work easier, and if we can make work better and easier for people, then it's a healthier, mentally healthier place for people to be working in as well. And I think that's really important in this day and age, that if we can do things to make things better for our staff, that's a really important thing too.
Great. Well, look, Jacqui, thank you ever so much for allowing me to patch you in from Western Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got to 1:30. we've got half an hour before Simon throws us off the platform, and I know what tends to happen at this, that he does have to throw us out at the end. If this was a drink stew, of course we'd be meeting at the bar. But if you need to go and get a drink, go and get a drink. But look, can I just say a few words? Simon and all the tech team at Buzz, thank you very much. Without you pressing the buttons and keeping me under control, we'd never get this thing off the ground. To our sponsors, can I just say, look, thank you ever so much. Thank you for taking a punt on this, because like all things, I'm saying I've never done it before. I've got no idea who's turning up. So thank you very much to all our sponsors for doing this. Couldn't have done it without you. But can I also thank you, the delegates? Thanks so much for giving up your time. I really do appreciate. I know we're all time poor in this sector. I do hope that you've learned something. I hope the young guns. I can't wait to catch up with Jacqui Rigby. I hope the young guns have really embraced this. And I do hope that you decide that you want to learn some more about doing this and doing some more. This is what I want to do. Remember, if you don't send me your Word documents, you're not getting them back. It's give and get here. Give and get. There's power of the crowd. But I'm going to say thank you and goodbye up here. I'm going to be out in the room for the next half hour or so. But, you know, in terms of this event, thank you very much for sponsoring. Thank you for coming. I will be sending out a feedback questionnaire form. I do need the feedback to see how I tweak this again. I'm doing it again on the 28th of November. It might look different. It might be the same. Who knows? But I'll see you outside in the main room, and we'll meet at the virtual non-existent bar. See you in a second. Bye.